All right, folks, welcome back to Procreate. So once we've got this done here, we're going to go ahead now, we're going to shift to the lights, add a layer, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this screen. So this is very much going to follow the same path, but use the same texture brush that we've been using. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to put in some of the light colors. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this off because I really don't need it. Come up through here. I'm going to hit on some of the highlights, figure out where I got some of the reflections, get some rim light there. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that up a little bit, and then I'm going to drop the opacity down because I don't want it to be as large and as in charge as it's looking here. Interesting thing here with different areas, like right there, you kind of want to just come in on the side of the fold. All right, if this side is light that I'm working on right now, then the other side has to be a little bit darker. So when you think about this a lot of times, if you have a little bit of light on one side, you have to have dark on the other. So like right here, if I'm going to put a really solid line down right here of light, then I have to have kind of the dynamic dark on the other side. Now you can texture the same way. All right, that looks pretty good. Now do the same thing with the ear here. I'm going to come up to this side, and we're going to put some lights down on this side of the ear. All right, let's bring that up a little bit. Bring that up even further. There we go. There we go. Looks good there. Okay, now why did that go outside the clipping mask? All right. If I want to come over here, what I have to do is then I have to clip to the layer below. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, looks good. All right, so we're now going to continue kind of that same sort of thing here. I'm going to come up here, but I don't want this to be really white, so I'm going to add in another kind of light. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to allow the editor to go ahead and speed this up here because you don't need to watch me do this for 20 minutes. In reality, what I'm doing is I'm just putting the lights inside to kind of sculpt out some of these shapes. Okay. Now, if this is a little bit too bright for you, you can come in and adjust this over to lighten, and you see how this will shrink this down. I prefer screen for what I do, but if that's a little bit too bright for you, feel free to do what you're going to do. And I'm really kind of loose-handed here with this because I want it to be pretty free form and flowing here. So notice that I'm not paying terrible attention to, making sure all of my lines are right and all of this kind of stuff. Because I wanted to have that painted look. I wanted to have that wall look. I wanted to have that graffiti look. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep on trucking here. Let's go ahead and let the editor speed this thing up, and then I'll come back and talk to you here right before we go into the next step. All right, folks. Now let's go ahead and turn this on real quick. I just want to go ahead and turn this background layer on because if I'm going to do the inking now, I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. I'm going to come back to my ink pen that we've been using, and I'm going to come into black. I want to start the conversation with the eyeball here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the eyeball right through there. And now, as long as we're doing base layer here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to my reds, just like that. And I know we hadn't talked about the reds yet. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to pop in just a little skosh of red. Now I'm going to keep this pretty light, and I'm going to come in right about here, just like that. And now let's go ahead and kill this. All right, now why did that not work quite the way I wanted to? Because I want to go ahead and make this a little more red here. Okay, now that did not work. Let's go ahead and undo that. Went a little bit too far. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and bring this in. Come into here, add in a layer in between. Now, notice I added a layer in between here. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to almost merge it down. Okay, all right, let's go ahead, swipe that, and click here and go merge down. All right, let's go ahead and call it on this one. And the next one, we're going to go through and I'm going to do some of the fine detail work in terms of setting up the geometry to add in the detail now that we've got some of the roughs done. All right, we'll see you in the next one.